So if you're thinking of moving to Minnesota, it's important you know the laws of the state of Minnesota. Today we're going to go over the top 5 laws that are still on the books here in Minnesota that might not be laws wherever you're coming from. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to go over one law that was on the books until 2015 that was probably making Grandma and Grandpa a little grouchy. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Steve. I'm team lead for the Three Rivers real estate team based out of the Twin Cities right here in Minnesota. I produce content for people just like you looking to move to the area so you can have all the information you need to see if the Twin Cities is right for you and your situation. Now today, like I said, we're going to go over some of the laws that are on the books here in Minnesota, as they might vary from wherever you're coming from. So it's always good to know what's out there. And these laws are a little weird. They might not be common other places in the country. So if you're new to Minnesota, you're looking to move to this area, you might find out really, really quickly that we like to drink a little bit. We like our bars, we like our breweries. And so here in the state of Minnesota, public drunkenness of itself is actually not a crime. If we take a look at Minnesota statute 340A.902, drunkenness, not a crime, no person may be charged with or convicted of the offense of drunkenness or public drunkenness. So that varies a lot. A lot of other states do have this law on the books. However, it is important to note that if you are drunk in public, there's a good chance you're probably going to get charged with something else, such as disorderly conduct, maybe if you break property or something like that. So you're not excluded from any of that stuff. But the actual law of itself, public drunkenness, is not on the books here in Minnesota, where it might be in a lot of other states. Now, if you're moving to somewhere else and you haven't spent a whole lot of time here in Minnesota, you might not know just how bad our mosquitoes are. They suck. They're everywhere. They really do just get after you, especially in the summer months. Well, we do have a law on the books that can help out with that. Minnesota Statute 18G.14, the mosquito abatement. The abatement or suppression of mosquitoes is advisable and necessary for the maintenance and improvement of the health, welfare, and prosperity of the people. Areas where mosquitoes incubate or hatch are declared to be public nuisances may be abated under this section. Mosquito abatement may be undertaken under this section anywhere in the state by any government unit. So yes, you got to get the government involved. Sure, there's probably a lot of paperwork that happens with this thing, but like I said, we do have just a lot of mosquitoes. They are everywhere. If they do become a public nuisance, we have some laws on the books that can help abate some of that and make it a little bit more enjoyable. Now, if your car breaks down in Minnesota and you need to hitch a ride, you're probably better off calling Uber than trying to hitchhike on a roadway, as it is prohibited in the state of Minnesota. According to statute 169.22, hitchhiking solicitation of business, no person shall stand in a roadway for the purpose of soliciting a ride from the driver of any private vehicle. Now, again, if you break off in the middle of the road, I don't know how you're supposed to be able to hitchhike without being on the roadway. Maybe you need to be on a sidewalk or on the side of the road or something. But again, I'd probably just say, hey, probably better off calling an Uber or a friend, as this weird law will prohibit you from hitchhiking on a roadway. Most people can agree that adultery is wrong, but here in the state of Minnesota, it is actually illegal. According to 609.36 adultery, when a married woman has a sexual intercourse with a man other than her husband, whether married or not, both are guilty of adultery and may be sentenced to imprisoned for not more than 1 year or to a payment of a fine of not more than $3,000 or both. Now, it is important to know this can only be charged if there's a complaint from the husband or wife on the other side of this. But of course, if you're guilty of adultery and in that situation, getting a $3,000 fine might be the least of your problems. Other things are going on there, but it is interesting that there is a law on the books still here in the state of Minnesota. Now, you might have heard about this law that if you're driving your motorcycle, you can't do it shirtless. You need to have a long sleeve shirt or a jacket on. And this one is partially true. It's actually only applies to when you are getting your license, when you're doing the endorsement program. The specific law says the instructor in a motorcycle endorsement program shall ensure that during the laboratory instruction, all students wear a helmet, an eye protection device, and protective clothing, including gloves and a jacket or long sleeve shirt, long pants, and shoes or boots that cover feet and ankles. Again, this only applies when you're taking the motorcycle endorsement program. Once you have your license and you're out cruising on your own, you can go shirtless, you can do whatever you want to. from that standpoint, now I highly recommend that you put some protective gear on in case you do, God forbid, get into an accident, but it is not illegal in the state of Minnesota to do that, only when you're taking the course. Now, all the way up until 2015 in the state of Minnesota, nursing homes could only host 2 bingo nights a week. That's it. They were limited on that. Thankfully, that was taken off the books in 2015, so grandma and grandma can enjoy all of the bingo that they want. But that is such a weird law that was on the books all the way up until 2015. Like I said, it's recently taken off. Thankfully, everybody deserves to have bingo every night of the week if they want it. So there you have it. There's those top 5 laws here in the state of Minnesota that are maybe just a little weird, at least in my opinion, and might vary from wherever you're moving from. Now, if you are moving to the Twin Cities area, it's always important to take a look at what city ordinances might be in place too. Just like city of Minnetonka, no muddy tires if you're driving through the city of Minnetonka. You have to have your tires nice and clean if you're moving through. So it's always important to know local ordinances when you're moving the area too. If you are moving to a certain city and you have questions about it, let us know. Our contact information is below, or drop us something in the comments. Love to talk to you and help figure out if whatever city you're moving to is the right situation for you. Till next time.